It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's Juliana and beautiful Debbie Lubinsky. It's Friday, May the 19th, everybody. It's 12:14 a.m. here in Calgary, 11:14 where Debbie is. Good morning, beautiful Debbie.
Good morning.
So we are actually here today on behalf of the Divas That Care podcast. We are your Shine Sisters, and we are the Spirit-Centered podcast. And today, Debbie had a beautiful theme of mothering. May is the month that we celebrate Mother's Day. In my own life, I celebrate the beautiful energy of our Divine Mother, Mary. And so when she suggested this, I was like, yes. Also, in the Divas That Care, we launched our Mothers, Our Daughters book. And I know if you're on the podcast, you can't see it. And for those that are watching the live right now, you can. Our Mothers, Our Daughters, that is available now. So good morning, dear Debbie. How are you today?
Really good. Thank you. Thanks for talking in the green room. I love it when we get together because we get to talk in the green room. We get through some stuff and then we end up raising each other's vibrations so then we can come on here and be completely ready to go and available. And so I am ready. I am excited.
Beautiful. So happy belated Mother's Day, honey. I know that we're talking mothering today, and I have one son and you have?
I have 3 sons.
Yay. And one son in heaven.
Exactly. My James Philip is in heaven. He
Because-
was stillborn that I had in 1992. I was 19 years old and he is still my child, and I do get to feel him, which is really amazing because it proved to me that my mediumship abilities exist, and he is a big part of that. So it's really cool.
You know, and I find it interesting because a week before Mother's Day is Bereaved Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I know we've sat with a lot of women who, you know, it's very traumatic. I think there are a lot of very hard earth school lessons, and I think bereavement has to be at the top of the hard.
I would completely agree. I mean, we've done readings for people whose, children, lost their lives due to suicide or car accidents. It's never easy. First off, it's a complete miracle that we get to be moms, right? And then when you go through a birth experience and you've connected with that soul to soul, you're connected forever, no matter what. And it never feels correct when you lose a child. But I've learned so much from it. And I think what it does is it expands you. It expands your heart. It expands your awareness over and above anything that anyone could ever teach you. It's like an experience that you just can't explain. A pain or a joy. It's just like giving birth when we lose a child. It's like you experience pain, but you also experience a deep unconditional love. It's really quite interesting. So I would say, I guess I've been lucky in this life that I've experienced both, which has absolutely made me a more compassionate, understanding person.
What a beautiful way for you to explain it, Debbie. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I mean that sincerely, that you are so expanded and you are so wise that you said how blessed you are to have, and I'm getting full body goddess bumps, how blessed you are to have experienced both. That takes a very deep wisdom and understanding of the universe having our back, that regardless of the outcome, that you can be grateful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it takes a long time, and it takes a It definitely takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage to not hold it in. But the most important thing I feel like as a soul having a human experience is we have to realize that we aren't here to experience it alone. And when we go through challenging times, it's important that you reach out. It's important that you find a group or an individual that has an understanding. My experience was I saw through social media the very first time that I went to an energy healing circle. And that was when I heard from my son for the very first time through this woman. Carlene Higgins is actually her name. Quite amazing, and really doesn't really, I noticed she doesn't put herself out there as like this big psychic, but she changed my life. I was carrying around guilt for 20 years. I was carrying around guilt until one experience with her and hearing the message that she had given me from my son and a different perspective. And then that's when I started really getting into angels, and it had changed my life. It allowed me to see it from that perspective. But if I wouldn't have been vulnerable enough to share, I would still be sitting in that guilt and that sadness and that wonder. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Right. So it's so important as a mom of any type of mothering, which is what we're talking about today, to know that it's okay to create a space for yourself to have support. You don't have to do any of this mothering by yourself, even when you're in the hospital room or at home, if you do home births, you have a team around you bringing that child into this world. So why, I feel like, and then it seems like all of a sudden we go home and we're holding that baby, and then we think we have to do it all on our own. We didn't bring the child in alone. Why do we need to do this all alone? Right? Or with a spouse or whatever. But we have to continue to nourish ourselves and create that community and that support system consistently. And what that does is it teaches the child that your mother, that they don't have to do it themselves, that they don't have to be perfect either, right? It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to need a team of support around you. So I encourage moms, make sure you're doing that for yourselves. So.
Yeah, mothering is a tough job. And, for me, I only have one. And as a little girl, though, I did have a lot of children that I babysat. And so I always felt, people used to call me little mom, that I was a little mom.
I would say you're still, but you're not. I mean, yeah, I would still.
It is one of my
mom energy. Like you, even as a friend, you have that mom energy. You're very.
I really do. And I actually, it's a blessing, and it can be a curse as well, because I'll never forget one of our, I don't even know what you call somebody that you were in a class with. A co-student said to me, "Oh, Juliana, your mothering energy is too strong." And I'll never forget, I was like, oh, I just shrunk, because you're right. I think because I'm the eldest and I have 3 siblings. And like I said, I did babysit a lot of children when I was young. Mm-hmm. And I did have a mothering energy, and I wanted to be liked. So I can see it on different levels now, but I didn't realize that I tended to hover. And so I didn't know that it was being perceived as strong. However, it was interesting, Deb, because when I pulled that energy away and recognized, through mentoring with many different teachers, I learned that we have that, maiden, mother, crone energy, but we also have the inner child, we have the teenager, and then we have the empowered woman. And when I became more empowered woman and wasn't mothering so much, some people didn't like it because they had wanted it. Like, I find it fascinating because some people want you to mother, but they don't want you to mother. It's been fascinating to me. So you're
well, isn't that how we are as teens though, right? It's where you want your mom to be around, you want her to help you pick out your outfits and take you to the dances and be there when you know, to take you to a party or what have you, which is what I'm experiencing at this point in my life with my boys. But then there's like, hey, I can watch what I want. I can do what I want. I can make my own decisions. I already know that. You've already told me that, or I already know that because I have that intelligence, I don't need you to tell me what to do. So it goes back and forth, I mean, anytime that I realize this, when we're at retreats or when we're in those situations, everyone's bringing their wounded self to that retreat to heal. And so everything that's said is coming from that wounded child or teen, right? And so taking it with a grain of salt, like, no, it's not about me. It's not about my mothering. It's about you. You somehow are attracting me into your space. This is who I am. My energy may be too strong for you, but that's okay because there's other people in the group and you can walk away from me at any time.
Right.
I met you at a retreat and never once, and you were my roommate.
Yes,
the very first time. I didn't even know who you were. And I never, ever, ever, ever felt like you were hovering in my life or that you were hovering over me. I have a very strong mom who had some of those tendencies, right? So I know what that feels like. And you did not feel that way. However, that doesn't mean that other people didn't have that experience with you. But I think what it is again, it's our stuff.
Right.
That was her stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And it makes me sad to hear, because I understand it. We shrink ourselves for other people, but if we shrink ourselves for other people, then other people who need us to show up fully as ourselves aren't getting the benefit of us because we're shrinking for somebody else who's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's their job to walk away from us and us still stand in our power. And that's when I know that you have actually, knowing you for as long as I have now, we've watched each other, and it's been amazing to see how much you don't shrink. You don't shrink anymore. People will continue to say, you have that mothering energy, you have that strength. But I see you now attracting other friends, women, people into your life who are like, give me more of that, Jules. Give me more of what you got, because I like it.
Right. And that's the beauty of transformation. That's the beauty of expansion. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to have days where people still, like my own child, resents the mothering.
Well, that's their job. If they like everything we do, then there's no challenge in life, and we need a challenge to make it grow.
My mother still tells me things and I don't want to hear it, and I'm 59. Like I said, as long as I'm alive, I'm your mother, not your friend. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be friendly or be your cheerleader. Yeah. However, I'm still your mother. So there's going to be things that I say and you don't like, and you're going to have to deal with it, buddy, just the way that I still am dealing with it.
Exactly.
So
that's just the way that it is. That's just the nature of it, right? So I wanted to, if it's okay with you, I wanted to talk about mother's intuition.
Yes.
Because you and I are extremely intuitive. Jeez. And we attract people in our lives that are also intuitive. And if you're listening and you don't think you're intuitive, let's just be open to that. So I wanted to talk about, the way that I receive intuitive hits as a mother. And then I thought maybe Juliana could also talk about how she gets intuitive hits as a mother. And then hopefully you guys in the comments when you're listening to this podcast, feel free to comment and let us know what kind of hits and how do you know that it's your intuition supporting you and working for you in your favor as a mother at this point. So if it's okay, I'll talk about mine and then we'll go to you.
I love that.
Okay, so the way that I get intuitive hits about in my mothering is I get quick ahas, quick, like a bubble, kind of just like, just kind of pops into my mind. And I'm like, I just know. I just know, right? I didn't always, but the most important thing is I need to trust it. When I don't trust it is when the bubbles stop forming and stop showing up for me, and these ahas stop showing up for me, because why should it's almost like, because our intuition is coming from spirit, it's coming from the divine, and the divine's like, if you're not gonna listen to me, I'm not gonna put so much effort into you because you're ignoring me. You're asking for help. You want the support and the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to support these human beings, these souls that have come through you. Now I need you to listen. And we also want to be, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Discerning.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Angels.
Thank you, Angels, for bringing that back, because it went off on a different bubble. So so how I visualize mine, and you know what, I am one of those fairy, woo-woo, angel-y girls, right? And I love all of those things. Wizard of Oz is such a fun thing. I like to think that my intuitive hits are coming in like Glinda the Good Witch. Like she's floating in with her beautiful sparkly wand and her beautiful flowy dress, which is how I am, right? I feel like I'm sort of like a Glinda. So my intuitive hits are coming in like a bubble. And it's a female bringing me these lovely hits to be able to support my children. So I love it. I've embraced it. I think we always have these hits. It's trust yourself, pay attention, and not everyone is going to agree with you, but that doesn't mean your intuition isn't correct. And that's where the strength and loving and accepting yourself, getting clear on who you are as a mother and as a woman. And the more that you trust yourself, your intuition gets even stronger, and it's less and less likely that anyone can tell you, no, that doesn't feel right. No, but my feeling felt right, so I'm going with it. It could be, it might not be in the highest good, but I'm pretty sure it is. You might not think so. So tell me about how you get into it.
I love that you brought this up, because I think my mothering, like mothering my son and even going out in the world, has been enhanced by learning to trust my intuition. Mm-hmm. And I tend to pay attention now. I am clairsentient, which means I'm a feeler. Mm-hmm. And so I get mine in feelings and claircognizance, knowing. Yep. Quite often the feeling and knowing go together. I also do trust what I see and what I hear now. I get a lot through hearing and pressure changes. And now, like, I have learned to trust to the point where one time my face allowed me to get into my son's phone. And that was profound, because he was on a bad road. And I found out, and I was able to intervene early. And so for me, my mother's intuition, trusting my gut, trusting the signs that I get, paying attention each day. For the last couple of years, when he was up to something, my vision would get cloudy. And I'd be like, okay, Angels, what am I not seeing? And I would just pay attention. How's he acting? What's the behaviors? What am I watching in his bank account? Because I am my son's legal guardian with my husband. And so with a son, a dependent young adult, we have certain jobs and responsibilities. So learning to trust my mother's intuition has meant everything. And I find it fascinating that we're talking on mothering, and my dog, I had closed the door and he was like going crazy. So mothering comes with anybody that lives under your roof, really, because you can mother your husband, you can mother your wife, you can mother your dog. And I mean, he was having a fit. Just a fit. Yes, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do my best to not mother my husband, because I don't want that job.
I know, sister. I'm saying there are times, though.
Yeah, but sometimes it feels like we have.
It feels like it. Not that I want to.
And vice versa. I think they do the same thing.
I think so too. all
it's
part
a
of the
love thing. I think it's more of an unconditional love thing, that bond. You want the best
Well, we're doing our
for them.
best, right? We're doing our best, and mothering comes in many different ways and opportunities, because sometimes friends need the mothering because maybe their mother can't show up for them the way that they need. And I think that has also been one of my greatest gifts in healing, is not having expectations on my own mother and realizing she's on her own path. And that's why, let's look at Oprah for a minute, because her and Gail have an amazing relationship. And Oprah also had Maya Angelou, who was a mother figure for her.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah.
her and Gail are like mother, sister, everything to each other. And so it's really important to begin to trust yourself and your intuition in all relationships. We're talking specifically mothering today, and it transcends all relationships.
And know that your intuition can come in differently, right? Sometimes it's going to come in, you're going to get overly emotional about something that's unexpected. You're just like, all of a sudden you're overly emotional about something, or you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go. I have to jump into this real quick and I got to go, and then all of a sudden you're like taking off, you're in your car and you're at the school or wherever they're at. And just know sometimes the intuition comes in different ways. So it can come in as a aha, or it can come in as, oh my gosh, I feel sick to my stomach, or I don't feel right, or my heart feels like it's breaking right now. Or you can feel like Wonder Woman and you're just like, I got shit to do.
Do you remember that time? Because I'm in Canada and you're in the US. And I mean, it's no secret that there's been a lot of trauma, let's say, in schools. And do you remember that time that you called me and you said, I've got a bad feeling. What do you think? Should I take my kid out of school? And we both decided together to err on the side of caution. Whether other people think that it was right didn't matter to us that day, because we needed to trust the vibes that we were getting, and we needed to cope within the, being in the present moment of that day. Thank God everything ended up okay.
Yeah. But I couldn't have forgiven myself if I didn't take that
right
chance.
Right.
My son respected me for it. He's like, you know what, Mom, I respect you. I don't understand it because everything's fine, but I respect you enough to be like, all right, cool. I'm getting a half day today because my mom is feeling like something's off, and that's what it is. If something feels off. But also, I just want to put a caveat into that. Sometimes we can feel off. So it's super, super important that we aren't projecting our imbalance, our children or our husbands or our spouses or partners. We have to make sure we are in balance before we do react, or, and those ahas could be coming in about our own inner child. So discernment is absolutely top of the list when you are working with your intuition and your mothering.
Oh yeah. And can I just say that your intuition is connected to divine source. We call him God. And if you don't, that's a-okay. But connecting to that power that is greater than us, where in that moment when you're having maybe some clarity is a little slower, to not only connect within yourself and to say, divine, I need help right now. I'm feeling this way. Can you give me some signs? Like, isn't that one, maybe Debbie, we can segue into you offering a card for before we close today.
Yeah. So the card that I pull, let me put my glasses on. I am 50, so I need my readers now. So I did go ahead and I chose Kyle Gray's Angel Prayer deck. For some reason, I've been drawn to this one lately. And the card I pulled was Love and Accept Yourself. Thank you, angels, for lovingly guiding me to self-acceptance. And that's what we were talking about. Your intuition expands when you are loving and accepting yourself, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that you're not getting intuitive hits and you're not getting things. However, they may not come in as clear as you need them if you're convoluted with this self-doubt, that self-sabotaging type of energy that you're putting around yourself. So it's like, make sure that you're working on yourself, putting yourself at the top of your list. It's so easy. I'm telling you from experience, it is so easy to put yourself at the bottom of the list or the packing list or what have you, right? It's super easy to do that, but it's also super easy to put yourself right back to the top, because it's all energy and it's all a mindset. And it's about how we treat ourselves. If we treat ourselves like crap, we will automatically attract others to treat us like crap around us. So loving and accepting yourself and thanking yourself for all the good things that you do, and just truly just accepting yourself and really getting in touch. This picture, I know not everyone can see it, but it has hearts around this woman, this angel, these red hearts. So really putting your hand on your heart chakra, which is your heart, and asking, because that's where your intuition hits come from. They don't come from your ego. They don't come from your mind. They come from your heart, which then connects to your third eye, which that is a whole different ball game that we'll get into at some point. But really tap into your heart. If you really don't trust the answers that are coming to you or the hits that's coming to you, always put your hand on your heart and then ask yourself again and ask spirit again, please give me a clearer answer. Let it be a sign, a knock on the window, a bird showing up. Can you show me something that I will truly believe and accept, and then move forward with that? So what more do you have for?
Well, I would add to that beautiful message, dear Debbie, that while you were talking, I heard to remind our listeners that, we can be better mothers, better humans when we fill our own cups first, when we're loving and kind to ourselves. How many times have we seen movies, or maybe even in our own lives, where we know friends or people, or maybe even not our mothers specifically, but maybe you had a mother who was empty, and you would want something from her and she just couldn't give it because she didn't have it. She didn't have the bandwidth. My experience now is that as I fill myself up, I'm not as tired for when my son needs me, or my friends need me, or my clients need me, or my communities need me. And really taking time, like we're in May, almost the end of May. So I'm recalibrating. I'm looking at, where am I spending my time, my money? What's the value? And where can I best be of service? What are the things that I'm in alignment with, and what am I not? Loving yourself in your own heart is looking at all of that, because you can be a way better mother when you fill your own cup first. Much like, here in Canada, WestJet pilots, thank God, ratified their agreement. But when you're on a plane, they say, put your own oxygen mask on first before you put it on anybody else. So ladies and gents, if you get anything from our talk today on mothering, it's to fill your own cup. I love that Debbie offered that to us today, because I know how it's made a difference in my own world. People are noticing it, because now I take care of me, and not from a selfish, it's from a, taking care of me because I matter, because I want to be a better human in humanity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can't be of service to others if you can't be of service to yourself.
Yeah, if you're empty,
if you're empty, you have nothing to give. And
exactly.
Then what do you give? You're trying to scoop. It's like trying to get wine from a barrel that's empty. You can't.
Right?
It's empty. There's nothing to get. So make sure you're filling up yourself, filling your cup, so then you have something to give. Exactly. And when you're filled up, it's almost like you feel like you're on just that cloud 9, right? and you're just so open to receive, but also to give. And it creates a sense of balance.
Exactly.
Right. And that's
Harmony.
ultimately what we're looking for, is to find balance in our lives, especially as mothers.
I'm so happy to have you as my shine sister, because you balance me, sister.
I know.
I
love
love
it.
when we connect, we fill each other's cups. I'm so grateful. I hope that our listeners got some value today. We'd love to hear from you. You know, you can reach Debbie on DebbieLubinski.com or me on JulianaMello.com or on the Divas That Care Network on our beautiful page. We're going to sign off for today here in Canada. It's a long weekend. Be safe. And if you're listening to us after the fact, we're going to be back in a couple of weeks for another Divas That Care episode. Any last words, dear Debbie?
I'm just sending you all just so much love. And actually, don't go to my website because it's not there right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Follow me on Instagram,
Okay.
Debbie Lubinski. Just look up Debbie Lubinski, Labinski. You can start following me on Instagram, and we can connect there. And if you ever want a reading, just DM me or email me, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I did not know that. Thank you for the.
Yep, it just happened the other day, so I haven't had a chance to tell you.
Thank you, everybody. We wish you love,
you.
light, and joy, and we'll be again here next time on the Divas That Care. And have a lovely weekend, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.